Africa, and a very warm welcome to you. This is Afternoon Express, and it is Thursday, finally.
Woohoo! To the weekend.
I know I'm getting a little bit of a rumble in the jungle here, getting everyone excited because we are back, baby, with our resident chef, Chef Dumi. Now, as a foodie, have you been just loving everything we've been doing this week?
Palisa, I've been loving everything about it because we're talking meat, and more meat, and also we're pairing it with our veggies, so at least we're still keeping a bit of a balance there.
Yep.
And we've still got the chef back in the studio.
Absolutely! We have got Chef Aphelele coming back. Now, Butwami, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready, Fali. Today I'm very, very excited to work with Myth again. So yeah.
Yep, indeed. Now, we are beefing up again on this Thursday beef and veggie-inspired Afternoon Express Masterclass with me, Palisa Tembe. Our regular Olympic chef, Aphelele Dlungana, is back in the kitchen as he shows us how to perfectly fry our steaks, make a creamy beef stroganoff, and meatballs wrapped in cabbage leaves. My mouth is already salivating. I came so hungry, ready to eat indeed. And if you are, please just head over to our Afternoon Express website where we have detailed every dish we're about to whip up today. We also have Tuesday's dishes, ne?
Yes, Palisa, we do.
So it's thumbs up here in the kitchen. But before we get into all of our delicious recipes, we're also going to talk about the fresh spread that we have in front of us. Now, Aphelele, again, you brought some healthy-looking meats.
So today we'll be working with some kidneys. So this is lamb kidneys now there. So these are very, very high in omega-3. This will be you can use for your steak and kidney pies. And right next to it, we have chuck. It comes from the lower back, right next to the neck of the cow. It's got a lot of connective tissue, but that you can use for a minute steak, pound it down with your mallet. And then right here, we have your sirloin that we can use for steak strips, you can use for your kebabs, or you can just set it off like that.
Now, Chef, on Tuesday, you came with a T-bone the size of my head. And these sirloins are quite reasonably smaller. So is that going to be quite a different game changer in the way we prepare it and the way we enjoy it?
Yes, it does. This will take a little bit less time cooking. Remember, it's not that thick. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, we're not done though.
We're not done though.
We've got a family favorite. I think every South African in every home should know what this is.
So can you pass me that, please, buddy? So here we have beef mince. So it's ground up meat. This you can use for many dishes. You can make your koftas. You can make your meatballs out of this. Yeah, so this is a very, very versatile piece of meat.
Dumi, I'm looking forward to getting into all of this, but Chef did say from about the mince to the chuck, that is all beef. But here we went for some lamb kidneys. So talk to me just about the different types of meat and the textures that we can enjoy.
So, Palisa, if you're looking at lamb meat, okay, for instance, right now we're talking about the lamb kidney specifically. So people would assume that because it also is one of the internal organs, one of that offal, you'd expect it to cook for longer. But this is one of the few of the offal meats that you can actually eat quicker. Because one thing you want with this is you don't want to overcook it. You can just slice it in half, make sure it's beautifully cleaned, and you just flash fry it, because the whole idea is you want to keep it nice and tender. So it's not like the other meats like we did tripe on Tuesday, and that takes a while to cook. So it's not like one of those. So it has a bit of a, it's an acquired taste, I've noticed, because not everyone gravitates towards the lamb kidney because of the function of it and because of the taste of it.
I like kidneys. I don't know, beef kidneys. I think I do love insides. I even love chicken giblets and hearts. So it's lovely to be able to play with and enjoy every part of whatever animal we're enjoying. But let's get back to the chuck. Now, I mean, I've definitely seen this in the supermarket, but I'm not quite familiar as to, you did say that it's the below the neck of the cow, but above the shoulder. Is it economical, price points financially? What are we looking at? And that texture compared to the lamb kidney, how does that compare? It's
not very, very expensive from what I know. I mean, like the chuck, it's got a lot of connective tissue, as I said.
Yeah.
So that will need you to clean it properly when using it also. And I mean, like, as you can take it to, you can make steaks out of this. Yeah.
Okay.
Steaks.
But whenever I think of chuck, I think of a braifvlees for me, and that's what I think of. So I see it here, and it's a whole piece. Normally, we're so used to seeing it already cut up and into those thin slices. So that's exactly what Chef is saying. So you could cut it up into those beautiful thin cuts of meat, and you just flash fry them as well on an open fire. And get that beautiful smokiness. And that's when the connective tissue sort of breaks down and gives you that juiciness when you have that steak.
So the vegetables that we're going to be using today,
Melissa, we're going to be doing something called I'll give it the name that our team calls it. It's Oma Honoricum base, and that uses cabbage leaves, Palesa. And yes, now we've got the baby ones, the little baby cabbage. So that's going to be, in essence, the carrier of the dish that we're going to be making, because we're going to make some beautiful, like, meatballs with rice and wrap them in this beautiful, economical and very family-friendly ingredient.
We also spoke about sweet potatoes. Now, how are we going to be incorporating sweet potato in the other recipes?
Well, normally people have their pies just on their own, but we're giving you an idea where you can have your pie with a side, and we're going to be having our steak and kidney pie paired with our sweet potato fries, Balesa, because normally you have fries, just normal potatoes, but we like to, you know, elevate our veggies. Sweet potatoes, for me, are probably one of the most fun ingredients to use at home.
Beef stroganoff. Okay, we also have that on the menu. Now, beef stroganoff is also a fan favorite. It is so easy to make, very versatile. I think the entire family likes it. So when it comes to a beef stroganoff, what would we regularly, or what would we pair it with? Would be more of a mushroom?
Typically, that's how stroganoff is done. It's done with a beautiful mushroom sauce. That's where you cook your sirloin or your minute steak. I prefer to use those kind of meats because you want to flash fry it. But we'll actually go into detail about the difference of that kind of meat and how it's cooked with the veggies and so forth.
Definitely looking forward to it. Again, I have to just point your attention all the way to our Afternoon Express website, where you can find out what's on the menu this week and how you can get involved. How should your shopping cart be looking? Don't worry, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za. Now, on social media, we still want to engage with you. We are still focusing on meat. So I've got a funny joke for you. Are you ready?
Yes, Polly.
How does a butcher introduce his wife?
I don't know. Hi, I don't know.
Mitty Betty.
Well, welcome. Would you like to meet Patty?
Wow.
Well, just like that. Now, I want to find out from you, what is your best joke? Remember to use the hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. Now, the stakes are high in the Afternoon Express kitchen. Coming up with Chef Aphelele shows us how to fry our steaks rare, medium, and well done. welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, I am so intrigued as to how to perfect a steak, and that's what you're about to teach us, ne?
Yes, Palisa.
I'm excited for it. Now, have you ever wanted to learn how to fry the perfect steak from rare, medium, or even well done? Well, then you've come to the right grill. Chef Aphelele is going to take Dumi and I through our paces.
How to cook a perfect steak, we just need to make sure that everything is on room temp, your steak. So I prefer oiling the steak instead of oiling the pan. So this will help with the splatter that you don't have oil jumping all over. And also, we like to use sunflower oil instead of using olive oil. Because olive oil will burn quicker than this, and this has a higher, you can take higher temperatures. Some people prefer to season this before, but I prefer seasoning after also. But also another trick of this, you need to make sure your pan is really, really, really hot.
Okay.
Okay.
So wait, just take us through very slowly. Why do you prefer to season your steak after? You can put yours on. Why do you prefer to season your steak after you have prepared it instead of before?
That's before. For me, it's just I like controlling that the saltiness of it, but also it helps with creating that golden color if you season it before. For some people, that's what they like.
Yeah. But then similarly, Dumi, I can only imagine that if you do season your steak afterwards, won't your spices be raw, or am I wrong?
Not necessarily, not in this instance, because I normally tell people that the best way to cook steak is honestly just salt and pepper. I know that people like to add all those things like basting sauces, and that's great, but the whole idea for me is that a great piece of meat needs nothing more than just salt and pepper. But another reason why I'd like to think chef also adds the salt after is if you remember that salt draws out liquid. So if you put it on there and you put too much salt, it can end up being drier than you intended to be. So it is safer. You add your salt and pepper at the very end after you've cooked your steak, and I think you get a nice, beautiful, juicy steak as long as you make sure you rest it well.
Now we're doing different temperatures on this. So, but I mean, Dumi is doing a medium rare for us, which that will be 3.5 minutes, and then I'm doing a medium, which will 4.5 minutes on each side, and then you're doing a well done for us, which will be 5 minutes on each side. So the trick about this, as I said, you need your pan to be really, really hot. You want to create that beautiful golden crust on the edges. Also, this, you make sure that you only turn it once. And also another trick about this, your pan, you don't want to overcrowd it also. Because if you overcrowd it, it can drop the temperature of your pan, and it will start steaming. And I don't think anyone likes a steamy steak.
Not at all. Not at all. And another thing, fellas, is people, whenever they cook steaks, have this tendency to constantly do this, where you're moving it around and you're doing this and that. The whole idea is you want to make sure you get this beautiful crust, the skin on the outside, because that's the whole idea. That's the way the texture and the flavor is. So put your steak on, leave it, let it do its thing. It's going to get that beautiful flavor texture that you want from there. I'm also going to quickly do a test, chef. Do you want to just show us that before I go into one of the...
Okay, so another old trick that we use in the kitchen, if you're not really sure about the temperature of your steak, so we have the 4-finger test.
Okay.
So this will be your rare. So, and then you have your medium rare.
Okay, wait. What part are you pointing at specifically?
Here. This portion here.
Okay, so below your thumb.
Below your thumb, as it firms up, that's how you can actually determine the temperature of your steak if you're not really sure when you're cooking it on the pan.
Okay, so let's go through that again. So if you wanted rare, what should...
Rare, that's the first finger.
So your index finger touching your thumb. And as hard as
no,
that is...
No, it's soft.
Oh, well, soft.
Yeah, you're not tightening up,
Soft.
And then your medium rare.
Then you go to your middle finger.
You can feel that it's getting firmer.
Middle finger to your thumb. Okay,
and then
that is a little
medium.
firm. Ah, that's your ring finger. And okay, I see what you're doing.
And then your pinky, that will be well done. You can feel that it's really, really firm.
That's such an easy tip, trick, especially if you run out of time, because I always forget to check the time on my steaks. So that's a lovely way to remember it. So I can see, Dumi, you've already taken yours off because you're doing medium rare.
Yes, Palisa. And the whole important thing when working with steaks as well, you want to make sure you rest your steak, because all that does is make sure those juices get redistributed back into your piece of meat, which is the mistake a lot of people make. You make your steak and you're so ready to eat it, you go in there and you cut. And then all those juices run out. But obviously for this experiment, we're going to cut just so we can show people what kinds of meat we're talking about and the kind of slice we're going for. And I'm cutting against the grain so that I can show you my medium rare steak. And there we go. Beautiful, medium, Nice, beautiful crust on the outside, beautiful, still closer to the rarer side. That's what we want, medium rare. The closer to medium it gets, the more pink it gets, instead of just being raw. And then, Pale, yours should be closer to well.
Okay, let's see. Good luck to me. Oh, well.
I think it's
guess
also
mine
because it
needed more
was a thicker
time.
cut.
Mine did need more time. So where would you place my steak?
Let me see that, please, Polly.
But I think it also because it's
That's
thicker.
a medium rare, and also remember your piece, it's a little bit thicker on the center.
Okay.
And also the edges will be much more well done. This here we have a medium here. If you can look at this, Polly.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems as if because mine was just a little thicker, that's why it didn't get to all the way well done. But worry not, that just means it needed a little bit more time on the pan. But Dumi, you nailed yours. Chef Aphelele, I'm loving the texture. I'm loving the little tips and tricks. And if you would like to get in on the action, just head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, Dumi, I've truly just been enjoying this meaty masterclass.
And Balisa, we're continuing, hey? We're still on that meaty trail. We just have something more interesting and tasty now.
Okay, girl, I see where you're going with this. Beef stroganoff is a very popular Russian casserole. It is hearty, creamy, and simple to prepare, and it can be served 3 ways: with pasta, creamy mash, or a fluffy rice. The choice is yours. And today, Dumi, what are we going for?
We're going for your favorite, some mash, baby. Potato.
I mash the potato. I love
mean,
mashed
why not?
potato. It is versatile. I love enjoying mashed potato with something that we created on Tuesday's show, which is oxtail. So today we're going to be enjoying a delicious beef stroganoff.
Yes, Balisa, and we're going to be, instead of using cream, because most people would use that, we're going to be using our Clover Bliss double cream yogurt in our mixture today, because we want that beautiful tanginess going through our sauce, because we all know, I mean, the one thing I love about our tangy Clover Bliss is that it's got those, it's a source of those 10 vitamins and minerals, so it's perfect for this dish, Balisa. So to start it off, I'm already adding my beef strips into our pan, Bali, and what we're using here is that sirloin that we were just making earlier. We're using that kind of meat, something that's easy cooking, very quick, because all we want is to get that beautiful charred brown sides on it. And then we're going to start adding the rest of our ingredients, which includes some garlic, some onion that we've already sauteed, we've got some mustard powder, we've got some beef stock, and then we've got our salt and pepper and all of that, and that's going to create that beautiful sauce. But then it's not a stroganoff without the mushrooms, and that's what you're doing.
So, Dumi, how would you like me to slice your mushrooms?
Balisa, the one thing I love about this recipe as well, you can be as rustic as you like. So that right there, what you're doing is perfect, because I also want to get, even though we're charring our meat, I want to get those beautiful charred marks on the mushroom as well. So it's got enough surface area for us to be able to do that. So I'm going to start removing our sirloin here, because we don't want it to stew. We still want, because we're going to continue cooking it when we add the sauce and so forth, we still want it to be nice and juicy. So I'm removing it from the pan already. And I'm going to get started with the rest of the ingredients here.
So today we're using a sirloin strips as the beef. Now, is that a specific, is there a reason why specifically the sirloin? Is it any juicier? Is it easier to streak? Or are we able just to use whatever leftover beef we might have?
You need a quick cooking meat here, so a minute steak would work for this. Sirloin would work for that. You know, a rump could also work. You just cut it into nice, beautiful slices. I can say use other meats, but the risk with that is that you could get to that point where it's rubbery. So try and stick to the quicker cooking meats and slice it nicely and thin. All right, and to continue with our sauce here, Bali, we're starting off as a roux, which is what we normally do to get our beautiful sauce. But then I'm going to go in with my vegetables here. You know how we spoke about making a roux, but making sure you get flavor. I want to fry the ingredients first before adding the rest of it.
The onions have gone in there, and now it's time for my mushrooms. And this is all before we add in that beautiful dollop of Clover Bliss double cream yogurt. I mean, that's going to add that deliciously thick, creamy, and truly indulgent double cream yogurt, and elevating the taste of our stroganoff. But more importantly, it's very nutritious and simply decadent.
Definitely, Palisa. So to continue with the sauce, in essence, you want to make sure you cook down your mushrooms. But because I want to show you exactly the steps of what we're doing here, I'm going to go in with everything else. We go in with our mustard powder here, and then we go in with our flour. And then from here, we start mixing everything together to give us a chance to add the liquid into our sauce. From here, I'm going to add our beef stock. And then obviously the beef stock allows the sauce to come together. And then we're going to start creaming it now with our beautiful Clover Bliss double cream yogurt, because that's where the creaminess is going to come from this dish.
I can see your sauce already thickening up.
Palisa, and that's what we want. We want to make sure it's beautiful and luxurious, you know, but we also want to make sure we leave it a little runny, if it gets too thick, that's where our Clover Bliss comes in. It brings in that beautiful tangy flavor, but it also makes sure that our sauce loosens up should it be too thick for us.
And I love the fact that here it's going to add that hearty flavor to it as well, making sure that you become fuller for longer. I've noticed that your pan is still extremely hot. Is that what we want?
Correct, Palisa. It's extremely hot, but I've just turned it down because we don't want to cook the sauce, but we're going to let it get to the consistency we want. And Pali, our mash is here. It's beautifully cooked. It's beautifully delicious. I'm going to add some of our stroganoff that we've just made with our beautiful Clover Bliss.
Love that. Dumi, as you are doing that, let me just help you tidy up and clean up in the kitchen. You know, teamwork makes the dream work. And obviously, I decided to, for me, this is the star. This is the differentiating factor to elevate the dish that we're creating, because Bliss is essentially a source of 10 vitamins. It's kosher, it's halal, making sure that everyone is taken care of in the household. This is the big boy. This is the 1 kg, but it also does come in 500 grams to a take-home pack, 175 gram, and you know, those are just that peel on the go, easy convenience. Love that, Dumi. At what stage does the meat go in?
Palisa, we're going to add our meat in now, and that's it. Our sauce is done. The dish is ready. We just need to give it about a minute or so, and our dish is complete.
Time to eat! To get this recipe, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
Express yourself.
Today we're out at the magnificent Boshendal farm where I'll be chatting to General Manager Charles and sharing some cooking tips with Executive Chef Alistair. Thank you so much for having me here. Boshendal is a favorite to everyone. What's the history of Boshendal? Do you want to just go into detail on that for us?
Boshendal is the second oldest farm in the country, founded in 1685. And since then it's been through multiple owners. It's generated over time, predominantly being wine grapes, now into other fruit types. And over the last 2 years, the approach towards looking after the soil, looking after plant health, human health has become predominant in our agenda. I mean, this garden is an example. It was started about 3 years ago, and when they started, it was started as organic. And those are the living principles of this.
Every farm has its own way of doing things. What would you say is the specific philosophy here at the Boshendal farm?
It's about the cycle. It's about people, planet, community. It's a circular-based idea. So whatever we're doing has got to benefit everyone.
And then today we've decided to focus on two very humble and simple vegetables, which is the beetroot and the carrot.
Beetroots and carrots, basically, a growing cycle is 3 months. So from the day you put the seed into the ground until you harvest, it's 3 months. Both are very, very healthy plants, both very high in calcium and fiber. But also the produce that we grow here is predominantly grown for our own restaurants. So we don't grow them into big beetroots.
Now, Charles, these veggies look very beautiful, but I mean, how possible is it for someone like myself to have a home garden and actually grow specifically carrots and beets?
It's incredibly easy. You've got a little bit of soil somewhere, they grow incredibly easy. Grow them by seed. It's literally 3 months from the day that you plant them to the day you harvest them. If you don't want to grow it from seed, you can go to a nursery and you can buy the little plants, which mean you harvest after about 2 months.
You touched earlier on the regenerative practices that you have here on Boshendal, as well as sustainability. Can you tell us more about that as well?
What we're doing with regenerative agriculture is we're trying to get nature back in balance in the soil. And the way that we're doing it here is we use a lot of the different components of the farm. We grow a cover crop, and nature is supposed to have diversity. So nothing is monoculture like when you see a wheat farmer which has just got one variety. We plant up to 20 different species of different plants together, and it's all about building up carbon content in the soil. And the general rule is you can increase the carbon content in the soil by 1%. You can store about 170,000 litres more water per hectare. Once you get to 3% carbon, then nature's almost got back into harmony. So then this is where the regenerative part of it comes in. It's the whole cycle of nature coming back into the correct cycle. Less man-made inputs. We have to get it in, but once it's going, it manages itself. And we can see it in the benefits with healthier fruit trees. You need to spray less. It's healthier fruit for people to eat. That's basically our whole approach to regen.
Talk about farm to table. We've done the harvesting with Charles, and now it's time to get cooking and eating with Chef Alistair. Chef Alistair.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, yourself?
Awesome, thanks. Thank you so much for having me here.
Welcome.
As you can see, I harvested quite a bit of stuff here, and I know you've got a lot of things on the menu for us today.
We're going to be cooking with some beetroot and carrots, and while I'm putting together some delicious summer-style salads, I've got a little beetroot and peanut butter smoothie for you.
Thank you.
Just to revitalize you after all your harvesting, and you can also snack on some dehydrated beetroot and beetroot hummus.
It tastes gorgeous, but enough of my munching, Chef. Let's get into it. What exactly do we need for this?
Okay, so we'll start off over here. We've got a take on beef tartare.
Okay.
So a nice vegetarian option if you like. Also a nice summer salad. Beetroot tartare.
Okay.
So we've roasted the beetroot on the fire to give it a nice smokiness, just charred the skin lightly to give it nice texture. And we're going to be cutting that up with some classic tartare accompaniments, gherkins, capers and red onions. And then on this side we've got some gem lettuce that we've also harvested from the garden with some pickled red onion. And we'll just mix that together, and the idea is basically to fill the gem lettuce with the beetroot and eat it almost like a taco.
What exactly have you already put in there for us?
Okay, so we just cut up the beetroot. Like I said, we've added the red onion, the capers and the gherkins. I'm just going to add a little bit of a dressing onto there and some salt. And then we're going to clean up the leaves and we're going to plate up and we should be good to go.
And Chef, what's in that dressing?
It's just a fresh herb vinaigrette, fresh herbs from the garden, some olive oil and some lemon juice.
Chef, you touched on the roasting earlier about keeping the tops on, and I can actually see the difference here because the beetroot seems to still be nice and red, but everything else also still maintains its color.
The skin actually keeps all the juices, all the moistures, all the flavor inside. And I'm just going to finish it off with some toasted macadamia nuts.
And again with the nuts, and we've got the peanuts in the drink, and now we've got the macadamia nuts in the tartar.
Yeah, these vegetables, they eat well with a nutty flavor profile. So.
I can taste the earthiness of the beetroot in there. I can taste the vinaigrette that you put in it, but the macadamia nut just takes it to a whole other level. The crispiness of the gem lettuce. Chef, you knocked this one out the park. This is amazing.
Awesome, and we're not trying to hide anything. The vegetables are the heroes here, so we want to showcase the flavor profiles as much as possible, not adding any unnecessary flavors in there to take away from the hero of the dish, which is the beetroot and the fresh gem lettuce and all those.
From one star to another star. Now we're focusing on the carrots.
Okay, let's put the salad together. Can I ask you to cut those roasted carrots in half for me?
Okay.
And I'll start mixing all the others into the bowl. I mean, this is just everything into the bowl, toss it up, mix it through, make sure there's enough salt, enough acidity, and then you're good to go from there. I'm going to add some lemon juice for acidity. The acidity adds to the freshness. What we're going to do is I'm going to mix it together, but we're going to put the herbs on last, because if we put it into early, it's going to wilt. It's not going to be nice and fresh. So can you pass me the plate?
Sure.
And the rocket pesto.
The rocket pesto. There you go.
And this is a great salad for one person, or as a sharing salad with a few people. Okay. Can you add some of those delicious herbs into there for me? A handful of coriander, a handful of... there we go. We're not shy.
Just a little bit more.
And then let's finish up with the lemon-scented olive oil.
Oh, lemon-scented olive oil.
Just drizzle it in there.
More?
Yep,
Is that enough?
that's perfect.
And toss it, I guess.
You can add some salt in there. A lot of people don't add salt or seasoning to their lettuce or their herbs and things, but I mean it adds a beautiful flavor profile. Okay. Very rustic salad,
I see.
but so delicious.
And so vibrant, the colors from the carrot and the green from the carrot tops and the coriander. I can actually smell everything that you mentioned there, that lemon-infused olive oil. And is there garlic in the kimchi?
There is a little bit of garlic in the kimchi. There's also some apple, some radish, soy sauce, lemon juice, all those sort of Asian-y flavors.
Interesting.
Right. And now, if you can toss some toasted sunflower seeds. Awesome.
It's amazing how one ingredient can taste so different. I mean, you've got the tartness from the kimchi, you've got the sweetness from the roasted carrots, and you've got the crunchiness from the fresh carrot. And like I mentioned, I can see the vibrance of the different colors. And that pesto, Chef, okay, I wanna stop talking because this is absolutely divine. Thank you so much.
Express yourself.
back to Afternoon Express, where I am truly excited for this next treat we've got up in store. Now, in celebration of all the vegetables we're using in our recipes, we thought we'd put our chef's taste buds to the test. They say that you are what you eat, and we eat with our eyes. But let's see if that is true with our first ever blind taste test. And the chef that knows the most will be the winner of a very special prize. A healthy one at that. But let the games begin. Now, they are going to have to guess what vegetables I have in front of me. And I think we'll make it easy. Whoever thinks that they know what vegetable is the first vegetable, don't touch it just yet. I'm plating it on your plate. Say your name. And you get to choose first. But if you get it wrong, it bounces back to the next player. And if that player gets it right, then they only get half a point. Do you understand how it works?
Yep.
And we've got a very healthy treat in store, so I'm going to put this down. Please, may you pick up your first vegetable now.
Doomy.
Oh,
Wow,
Jesus,
yes,
Tumi.
Doomy.
Broccoli.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I did say that I'm starting off easy. I did say that I'm starting off easy. So I think to make this game easier, I'm just going to stay in between you guys as the games master. We have got our second vegetable. In 3, 2, 1, you can start eating.
Aphelele, I just felt it also.
What is it, Aphelele?
That's a cauliflower.
So it seems as if we are 1 point each. It is that easy, guys. It seems as if we've got 4 more to go. You can have some water just to freshen up the palate. Do not touch your plate, though. As I line up the third vegetable. I'm going to put your vegetables on the side here so you can have a clean plate. So our viewers can see. Right. And go.
Doomy.
Yes, Doomy?
Celery.
Absolutely, Doomy. It seems as if Doomy just needs to touch it. As soon as she feels it, she already knows what it is. Okay. This game seems like it's going to be boring. Aphelele,
No. I thought we were relying on tasting, but if you're going for the touch, then okay, let's go again to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Being finicky here. All right.
Just like that. So this one should be a little bit more difficult. As I said, I started very easy, and slowly but surely it's getting harder and harder. You can start touching in 3, 2, 1.
Aphelele.
And this is, wow. Yes, Aphelele.
That's a fine bean.
Fine
It's
bean.
beans.
Yes. Specifics.
Yeah.
Specifics.
So, is that your
Yeah.
final answer?
Yeah.
You said a fine bean.
Yeah, it's bean.
You heard the answer from me.
Yeah.
You heard
Absolutely, it is a bean. But I would say that's a green bean. So, but I'm not a chef.
closer to a string bean.
Yeah,
to be
string bean or
particular.
Well, okay. We're going to ask everyone to keep score here as to who is in the lead. We have got our second to last, our penultimate vegetable. You can, and please taste it before touching it, guys. Before trying to say what it is.
To me?
Yes, to me.
Carrot.
Okay. Jesus,
Wow.
okay. Okay, to me.
Yes, Doomy, just like that, you are right. And this is your very last, your sixth and final. And just like that, I'm going to step back. And this one is going to determine who the winner is. In 3, 2, 1.
Aphelele.
Yes, Aphelele.
That cucumber.
That is a cucumber. Just like that, Aphelele, you walk away the winner. You can take off your blindfold.
Finally. Yeah, boo.
Wait, actually, let's go back to the adjudicators. Adjudicators, I hope you are keeping score as to out of 6 rounds, who walked away the winner? Is it our Olympic chef Aphelele, or is it our resident chef and foodie Chef Doomy? It seems as if almost from the beginning, Doomy knew the answers just from feeling it. But it seems as Aphelele definitely let his taste buds do the talking. But we just got word that Doomy, congratulations, girl. You are the winner. And guess what you get to walk away with?
Tell me.
A lovely health basket of vegetables. Are you excited?
Yes. Very excited.
Well, this is what we want to do. We want to put you to the test and see how you can jazz up these vegetables from home, and hopefully you can get ubuhlokwa in on the deal. Now, wow, we've got some powerful taste buds in the loft. But enough of the shenanigans. Let's get started into our next recipe. A delicious dish of meatballs wrapped in cabbage. Welcome Welcome back to our Thursday masterclass. Now, Dumi, it seems as if we've done exceptionally well when it comes to our beef dishes and meats.
Yes, Palesa, and now we're saying let's also celebrate the economical, simple mincemeat.
Well, beef and veggies go so well together, and we can think of just so many ways that these two pair perfectly, which is why we've decided to try a not-so-common pairing of meatballs wrapped in cabbage leaves, which is known to be a traditional dish in Central Europe. Now, Dumi, you've taken us to Russia, now you're taking us to Central Europe. It seems as if in this Afternoon Express masterclass we need a passport.
Definitely, Palesa, that's what we're saying to you. You can travel the world just with your senses, and this is what we're bringing to you. This is a typical dish that what we were speaking about earlier, about oma and what's a converse?
Yes.
That thing, you know, but we're going to be making it a bit differently with the flavors we have here. We're going to start off by sauteing. In fact, let me do that as I speak so we know exactly what we're talking about. We're starting off with our Aphelele oil, Palesa. That's going to be the base for our dish here, Palesa. All we want to do is we want to fry up our onions and make sure they get to that soft consistency. And the reason why we've chosen Aphelele oil, all the time I say it's superior quality, Palesa. It cooks to a high smoking point, which is perfect, but also it's a great carrier of flavor. And the other thing about it, clear, no flavor, it's odorless, no additional flavor in it. All it does is just celebrates the flavor wherever you're cooking there. So I'm going to start by sauteing my onions, Bali. And to get us started as well, you can actually get started on your side.
Yes. So I've got the vegetable station, and this vegetable station I'm kind of excited about because I do love mincemeat and I do love cabbage, but this is a fresh way of enjoying it. I'm going to take my raw cabbage leaves, just like this. In fact, let me use my tongue. And you've got some extremely hot boiling water on the pan, making sure that it's quite a high heat.
Correct, Palesa. So in essence, we would call this somewhat of a blanching technique. The only difference here is we're not going to need to use the ice water because we're going to cook it a lot shorter than you normally would. So what we would ideally do is blanch the leaves in some hot water, boiling water, take them out, put them into a bowl of iced water. We don't need to do that now because we're going to cook it for less. In essence, you want to cook it for about a minute. We're going to go for 30 seconds just so it's pliable and the cabbage leaves can actually fold. And then once we've got to that point, then we can start working with them. In the meantime, Bali, our dish is not complete without just the mince. We're going to be using our Aphelele rice in our meatballs as well. And that's what you've got over. Yes, girl, kalela. So our Aphelele rice, what I love about it is that it cooks fluffy and white, Bali. So it's perfect for this recipe because it absorbs all the flavors that we're going to add to it. And the other thing about it, you know, 1 cup of that gives you 2.
Yep.
So you're getting double time for whatever ingredients you're putting in there. So I'm going to just stir up all these ingredients and start adding the flavorants for our dish, which is some coriander spice, ground coriander, some nutmeg, and then I'm going to add a bit of marjoram, which works perfectly for this dish as well.
And on that note, I've probably got about 20 seconds left on the very last piece of cabbage, which means let me take the very first piece of cabbage out. And just like that, look at that beautiful green color coming out of there, and that is exactly what we're looking for. The reason why we kept it in for a very, very short amount of cooking time, as Dumi has mentioned, we don't want our cabbage leaves to overcook.
Correct.
We just want them to be pliable enough, bendable enough, flexible enough to be able to wrap our meatballs in. And just like that, Dumi, it is easy to go. But if you have like gotten carried away with the kids and you're doing homeworks and you're running around, worry not, because then you can do that blanching technique that Dumi spoke about. And all that is that after it's gotten into this extremely, extremely hot water, you just double up on the very, very cold ice water. It'll stop the cooking process and make sure that you do not get soggy cabbage. It's a no-no in this recipe.
Definitely.
But and whilst I'm doing that, Dumi, please may you just show us how we got our beautiful minced meatballs to look like this.
All right, Palesa. So now that our rice is cooked, in essence, what you want with this rice is you want to cook it down. You don't want it to be fully cooked because it's still going to go into the oven to cook. But once it's cooked and the liquid is absorbed, you want to make sure that you cool it down. And the beautiful thing about Aphelele rice, Palesa, is when you cook it, it keeps its shape, keeps its flavor in there. So it's perfect. All we're going to do now is we're going to mix our mincemeat with this rice that we've just cooked and cooled down. And then we're going to start forming these balls, which you are now going to be wrapping with some cabbage leaves and securing with a beautiful toothpick there to make sure it holds its shape.
Stunning. You know, they do say that you eat with your eyes. A little throwback to the challenge that you and Aphelele just had. Yes, indeed. Aphelele rice is nutritious, cooks fluffy white every time. And as you have said, you know, it just doubles in flavor. But even though we're going to be wrapping it in this delicious cabbage, you might not be able to see that rice, but worry not. It is delicious, it is white, it is fluffy, and that's what you're looking for at the end of the day.
Correct, Balissa. So you can now secure those beautiful meatballs with a toothpick, and then we're going to now bake this dish of ours. It's beautiful. It's a simple, easy dish because once you've made these steps, you put it in the oven and you cook it in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes just to make sure that all those flavors mellow together. So I'm going to start the process for you and just add a little bit of our stock in the pot. Because we're doing a beef and veg, I decided let's just go with the beef stock for this dish as well.
Stunning.
So I'm going to put the liquid in there. Once you've secured your babies, put them in our pot, and then I'm going to put these into the oven to bake for that 40 minutes that we were talking about.
Voila, this is easy peasy lemon squeezy. And what I'm so even more excited about when it comes to this recipe is that it doesn't look filling when you look at it, but because it packs that flavor punch of the Aphelele rice, the carbs that you need to keep you fuller for longer, I'm here for it. But also, it's not overwhelming to eat. It's just beautiful bite-sized pieces, and that's what we're looking for.
Definitely, Balissa. Perfect as a starter, main, or, well, starter and main.
All the above. Now, we've just taken your taste buds on a culinary adventure. All you need to do is hop over to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full recipe list and ingredients.
Express yourself.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now on Tuesday, we chose a different way of enjoying our pumpkin by adding a beautiful sweet touch. And today we're keeping that same theme.
Yes, Palisa, we are. And this time we're going to be making some delicious carrot cake cupcakes.
Oh, looking forward to it. Now, NutriKids is all about fun and nutrition for the little ones. The magical range of NutriKids is a good choice for moms and even better for kids. Did you know that for every NutriKids product you purchase, you've contributed to a new house of hope, Eqebeja? With your help, Clover NutriKids, in collaboration with the Childhood Cancer Foundation of South Africa, CHOC, has supported this program for 15 years and counting. To celebrate this auspicious occasion, we're making scrumptious NutriKids carrot cupcakes that we know your little ones will love.
So to start it off, I've got some of our butter that's already been creamed together with our treacle sugar, Palisa. As you know, treacle sugar has a bit of a higher molasses taste to it, and that's why we're using it, because we just want additional luxuriousness in this recipe. Into this, I'm going to add some yogurt, some of our baking powder, baking soda, some spices, and egg vanilla essence, and then our binding agent will be our beautiful NutriKids milk that we're going to be adding to this mixture, Palisa. It's perfect because it's that great source of calcium that our little ones need. So I'm going to get started and mix all of this together.
Beautiful. And on your side, Chef?
On my side, I'm making the icing for the cupcakes. So we're gonna need to cream the butter here, make sure that it's soft. And then while I'm doing that, I think you grating the carrots for Tumi.
Yes.
A little bit later, yes.
Yeah, I've got a very simple job. I'm going to make sure that this vegetable that sometimes the kids run away from is the vegetable that they're actually running towards by grating it up. And this is going to add that extra bit of nutrients. Now, what I do love about this, yes, the carrots are adding nutrition into these beautiful cupcakes, but the NutriKids nutritious range is for kids ages 3 and upwards, which includes instant medium fat milk powder, instant medium fat dairy liquid blend, low fat dairy snacks, and 3 fun flavors of fruit nectar blends. I'm very much looking forward to that. So Tumi, what flavor do you have there and what are we using?
Palisa, today we're going to be using the medium fat dairy liquid blend, which is a perfect source of calcium like I said earlier. It's a great source of nutrients and minerals for our little ones because we know it's the foundation for growth in all our little babies. So we need to make sure we get them all those nutrients, and that's the perfect part about incorporating NutriKids into your daily, daily meals and daily cooking.
Yeah, beautiful. Chef, please may you pass that over to Tumi as you continue to cook.
All right, and then Palisa, I'm also going to get started now with adding the dry ingredients, but before I do that, I'm going to whisk this together. You know, whenever we're baking, I like to make sure I go from the spatula to the whisk, just to make sure we fully incorporate our ingredients in here. I know we've got the recipe on afternoonexpress.co.za, and it requires a cup and a half of this, so I just wanted to make sure it's enough in this mixture because I don't want it to be too dry. We need to make sure it's beautifully moist and soft.
You've just gone in with a cup and a half, you say, of that beautiful Clover NutriKids.
Correct, Palisa. I've just added that into this.
And that essentially is going to set a beautiful foundation of healthy development for the kids as it contains those essential nutrients and minerals. So, Tumi, I'm so glad that you're just forever remembering to keep the needs of our kids and the nutrition and, of course, the flavor all the way up there on the importance list. Now, on your side, Chef, how far are you with your icing?
I'm actually done with my icing. I added vanilla essence and a teaspoon of milk here. Just need to make sure that it's smooth enough to the consistency that you're looking for.
When you're speaking about that consistency, is this what we're looking for? Just easily pliable. It
just
comes
so that
out.
you can work with it, yeah.
Wow, lovely. And also I can notice that this is definitely room temperature. It's not cold at all. Is that what we're looking for?
That's what we're looking for because it needs to be easy to pipe out also because if it's too cold, it's not going to come out from your piping bag.
Beautiful. Tumi, how's it going on your side?
It's going quite well, Palisa. So all I'm doing now is just using that folding motion to mix together the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients. And then I'm also, like I did with the pumpkin the last time, I mixed everything else together first before adding our carrots. And then I'm going to add them now because I still want you to have a bit of a bite when you go into your carrot cupcakes. And then, Palisa, you've already started icing these, but just so people know, these are going to go into the oven to bake at 180 degrees for 20 minutes. The whole idea, as soon as the skewer comes out nice and clean, then you know that your cupcakes are ready to eat and ice like Madam over there, but it is always best to let them cool before you start icing them.
To get this recipe, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
NutriKids is what we need to help us to get strong and NutriKids, great for mom, great better for kids. Made with love by Clover.
time to dig into all the beef cooked dishes today on the show. I'm excited. We have got the veggies. Dumi, can you remind us what we made?
Yes, Palisa, definitely. So we've got here a beautiful stroganoff that we made with our beautiful yogurt that we added in there and infused, served with some mash. We've got our oma onodikon base, which is our mince and rice meatballs that have been wrapped with some cabbage leaves. And then we've got our delicious carrot cupcakes, Palisa, that are iced beautifully and decorated, I might say, really well by yourself and Chef Aphelele.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm so
yes.
excited to get into it. And not only are we getting into beautiful food on the menu, but also hopefully inspirational conversation. It's August and we are saying goodbye to Women's Month. However, I cannot let you go without letting us know who's a woman in your life who inspires you and that you just kind of want to pay homage to right now.
That will be my mother, Palisa. I mean, like, that's the strongest woman that I know. She raised boys. There's 4 of us. So, yeah. For me, that's my mother.
What is it about your mom that you think that a lot of...
That's a character trait that she has that a lot of people... I'm saying that the strongness, I mean, like, she was able to handle us because I'm raised by a single mother. So, yeah, that says a lot about her.
Oh, well, shout out to mommy. And I know that you are desperate. Yes, I'm putting his business on the street. Desperate to be a girl dad. So if you raising a beautiful young girl, shout out to his son, by the way. But if you were to be blessed with a girl, what type of woman would you want to raise her to be?
I mean, someone that's independent, someone that can hold the ground, not let anyone push her around. I'm like, that's for me personally the values that I would install in her.
I'm loving your beef stroganoff, Dumi. This is delicious.
Thank you, Palisa. And I'm loving the tanginess that the yogurt added to this because it's a bit of a mellow flavor that just does exactly what needs the stroganoff needs, Palisa. I also think I'd love some of that too, since you're being so generous.
Have you been able to have a taste of that cupcake yet?
I'm about
Not
to go
yet.
in, actually. Funny enough, it's as if you read my mind. So let's give that a
Wait, pass me one. I want to do a cheers. I have FOMO for everything. Okay, come, let's do a cheers.
Let's go.
Okay. Okay, awesome.
Thank you. Where's the hot one?
3, 2, 1.
Cheers. And let me know how it tastes. I like that. It's actually very close to the pumpkin cupcake that we made on Tuesday. Very delicious. I love the sweetness of it. Yeah,
It's those spices, Palisa, that we got in there.
Similar
The
flavors.
spices as well in our Oma Onodikon base are divine, Palisa.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. And if you have just caught the show and you're like, where did the time go? Don't worry, because we've got more Afternoon Express coming up along the week and also on the weekend. Now, if you have made a mistake and missed these steaks, then get your hands on this week's recipes from afternoonexpress.co.za and refine your tips by catching our repeats on Saturday from 8:30 a.m. right here on S3. Catch us again next week, Tuesday and Thursday from 5:30 p.m. as we explore family meals that don't break the bank. Here for it. Catch us again. Good night, Mzansi. Stay safe and happy eating. Here's to baking the winter blues away and trying new adventurous recipes to put the spring back in your step. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.